Hi again, everyone. Welcome into Inside Sports. I'm Mark Keller, and we are officially in the home stretch of the fall season. The temperatures are dropping, but the competition is heating up all around Washington County. Two county football teams are in the thick of the playoff chase in their respective regions. Our good friend and Herald Mail insider Bob Parsletti will be here today to talk about those two teams and whether we might have a county team hosting a playoff game this year, something that has been a rarity in these parts for a long time. We'll also go quickly around the horn with soccer, volleyball, golf, and cross country to see what's ahead for county teams and which of those teams might be playing deep into the postseason. And the future's so bright for our special guest today, I've got to wear shades. We're going to go out of season for a conversation with arguably the greatest high school athlete Washington County has ever seen, and that was just his first act. Herald Mail sports editor Andy Mason joins me to talk with this young man about the next steps in his journey. All that plus a look at what caught our eye on social media since we last spoke. We're jam-packed today. Lots more to come on Inside Sports. Stay with us.
When you elevate nurses, you reduce an entire town's blood pressure. Specialized medical training means top nurses, top care. Meritus. Healthcare transformed. How do you give a patient healthier healthcare? Give her doctor, nurse, PA, and therapist the same health record. Introducing electronic health records. One patient, one record, one click. Meritus. Healthcare transformed.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Time to talk some football here this week. We have Bob Parsletti with us again, as usual. Bob, going to talk about a couple teams with some playoff possibilities here. Let's start in Class 1A West. Boonesboro got off to a little bit of a slow start this season at 2-2, but really started to hit their stride about a month ago against Spring Mills, and they've won 4 straight since. What was it that kind of got the Warriors clicking at that Spring Mills game?
Well, I think what it came down to is for both of these teams, we're going to be talking about South too. For Boonesboro, they had to realize who they are, and South had to realize what they are. For Boonesboro, they had the first 4 games, they just were kind of figuring things out. They didn't really know anything. Then all of a sudden they realized what kind of team they are. They're not a smash mouth team. They're a little bit more of a finesse team. They needed to use a little trickery. They didn't have a lot of passing prowess, so they couldn't. So they had to do a lot of the old school wing tee that Coach Anders likes to use, and use a little bit of the speed game. And they've been able to build off of the week before by doing something different to keep them ahead of whoever they're playing.
I know Coach Anders talked a lot about kind of the smoke and mirrors idea, and really what stood out to me when we saw them against North Hagerstown, and it's really sort of become a trademark of Coach Anders' teams, the ability to spread the ball around, to find the hot hand, and they've done a lot of that, especially recently. Ethan Holobinko coming, with the power game, Max Chris with speed to the outside, Isaiah Barnhart's kind of a little bit of both, and then they have Josh DeRocher who can run from the quarterback position, and they're not afraid to throw it with him as well. Something that Boonesboro has done well in the past. And
over the past 4 weeks, that accidental play that they ran against Spring Mills for 2 touchdowns has shown up a couple of more times with Josh French.
Yeah, they've just always seemed to find a way to get the ball in the hands of the hot player, and something that amazes me. We talked a lot about must-win games the last few weeks, and Boonesboro's really had their share, beating Allegheny, North Hagerstown, Century in successive weeks. really set the Warriors up well to make the postseason.
Yeah, I think they're in a pretty good spot. I don't know if they can go any higher, and I don't know if they can go any lower. I think if they just hold on and win out, and they'll be fine. They'll be a third seed, and they'll probably be playing at Catoctin, which is a rematch of Week 1.
Right. Yeah, well, let's take a look at those 1A West standings. And Boonesboro, as you said, sitting in that number 3 spot. If they win out against Williamsport and Smithsburg, their final 2 games, they're assured a spot. Brunswick is sitting down in the 6th position. They're going to have to beat Catoctin in Week 10 to have a chance to get in. And Catoctin, a loss by them is probably the only way that the Warriors could get a home game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it seems almost cut and dry.
Yeah, it really does. Really, the wild card there is Mountain Ridge, who's sitting in that 4th spot. They play Fort Hill this week, and then they close against Kaiser, which is 6-2. A loss in one of those games will kind of open the door up for Southern Garrett to sneak in.
And Southern Garrett doesn't have an easy schedule the rest of the way either, though.
No, they don't. They've got a couple the tough games coming for them as well. Well, let's look at 3A West now, and we saw South Hagerstown last week beating Williamsport to move to 6-2, and they've had a couple guys really standing out offensively. Most of all, Timmy Townsend really kind of making a case for Offensive Player of the Year honors.
Well, and what Boonesboro was trying to figure out who they are, what they are for South High is they are a team. They have to play much as a team. Timmy Townsend's done a great job, and he's really excelled and got better as the years gone by. And Jay Swassanen has been the backbone of the running game and probably the linchpin of the whole offense, because if he runs well, they do well. And with those two combined, the rest of the team kind of falls together. They don't have anybody that really, sticks out, but they do everything right. They do everything together, and that's what's made them good right now.
Something that did stand out about Townsend, actually a couple things that really stood out about Timmy Townsend. He throws a nice ball. He threw out a lot of nice throws against Williamsport. A couple drops, he could have had an even better night, but he also kind of deceptive speed, and Coach Kellick and I talked a lot about that he's really quick at moving out of the backfield.
Earlier on in the season, I think he was running more readily. I mean, he had that touchdown against Hedgesville that basically won the game. He tried to run a little bit more against Westminster, but now he's being a little more selective. And when I wrote about the game, I said about his patience, because he had talked about how he watched one of the linebackers, and if he moved a certain way, he said it was wide open for the quarterback. And I think he's reading things a little more and being a little more selective with the running. Number one, so he doesn't get hurt, but number two, it's more of a wild card in the hand that they can use, because he is rather explosive. I think he had like 127 yards rushing with 5 carries the other day, because he picked the right times and broke the right plays.
We talked about this in the pregame last week about South's defense, and I think it kind of bears repeating. It goes to what you said earlier about them playing as a team. Not a lot of flashy numbers, but they're solid. What is it that makes them effective? Is it just that team play?
I think, as defenses go, a lot of teams have a hard time finding defensive backs. And especially in this era of the spread offenses and stuff like that, that's really makes teams vulnerable. South has pretty good core of defensive backs. They're all, running backs, so they know how to, probably know the patterns, because they're running the same thing. And the linebackers are pretty solid. And South always hangs their hat on the offensive line. Toby Peer and now David Lawrence both talk about owning the line of scrimmage. And they are very, very big at trying to keep the status quo or getting the advantage at the line of scrimmage, which does a lot against a lot of high school teams.
Let's take a quick look at the 3A West standings, and South holding on to the number 2 spot there right now, ahead of Westminster, which handed the Rebels one of their 2 losses. But like Boonesboro, if South wins out, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, that's pretty much the case. I mean, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's just take care of yours and everybody else will take care of, everything will take care of itself. If they keep winning, there's nobody that can take over because of the bonus points, because of who they beat. The only team they have to worry about is Westminster, and they lost the game now. Even though they have the advantage, of getting the bonus points from South, they can't pass them if South keeps winning.
Absolutely. Still 3 games, big games remaining in that region. You have Linganore against Tuscarora this week, and then next week Watkins Mill plays Blake. That'll kind of eliminate one of those two teams. And of course, the North-South game. North, we could have a 7-2 South against 6-3 North the final week of the season here in Washington County. So it should be fun to watch. Bob, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll have live coverage of the North-South game next Friday night. Game Day Live starts at 6:30 with kickoff to follow at 7. I'll be there. Bob will be there. We hope you'll be too. Andy Mason joins me with our special mystery guest right after the break.
We've been coming to Rick's for about 3 or 4 years. The staff at Rick's is wonderful.
It is the Cheers of Hagerstown.
Everybody knows your name.
They've actually become a lot of our friends.
Treat you like family. They know you by name.
It's nice to be able to go somewhere as quality as this that's not a chain restaurant.
The food is unique. They get creative. It's fresh food.
And they make great drinks.
The word is in. Local, casual, and always epic. That's Rick's Cafe. No ropes. No pyro. No entrance music. No signs in the crowd. It's WWC, the Williamsport Wrestling Club. For over 25 years, we've been promoting amateur youth wrestling in the community. Good sportsmanship as well as overall health is fostered through this exciting sport. WWC is fun for the whole family.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We are in the fall season, so we tend to talk football a lot this time of year, but we're going to go out of season a little bit this segment because it's not every day you get a chance to sit down and chat with a world champion, and we have that opportunity today. I'm joined now by our Herald Mail insider, sports editor Andy Mason, and the aforementioned world champion wrestler, Hagerstown's own Aaron Brooks. Aaron, welcome back to Inside Sports. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing great, doing great. Many of you already know Aaron's resume. It's really one of the most storied, if not the most storied careers we've ever seen from a Washington County athlete in any sport. Andy was there covering it every step of the way through high school and now beyond. Andy, far too many highlights to mention them all here, but take a minute to touch on a few of the biggest moments that we've seen from Aaron.
All right, I'll try to keep it to a minute. It might be tough. Let's just go back like the last 14, 15 months, or the last years. September 17, you're beginning your senior year of high school, you go to Athens, Greece, and win a cadet world title at 76 kilograms. That's 17 and under world title. You come back, start your senior season at North. You end it with your 4th Maryland state title. A few weeks after that, you go to Virginia Beach and you win your 4th straight NHSCA national title. You're named the most outstanding wrestler of the national tournament. And then a few weeks later, you go to Las Vegas to compete against college guys, UWW,
Junior.
Or the U.S. Open in Las Vegas,
junior division.
20 and under. You win that.
Yeah.
That gets you the spot in the championship finals for the World Team Trials.
Yeah.
You win that. You earn a spot to go to Slovakia for the Junior World Championships, which were just a few weeks ago, and you got the silver medal there.
So
pretty big resume, huh?
Yeah, it was moving fast. Coming out of high school. Well, I came back, graduated, and then I'd already made the world team then. But even training up until the World Championships, it came pretty fast, and it was a great experience. Being out in the training center for the longest time I had been ever, and
the training center. Aaron spent mostly since March when you finished your schoolwork early. He's been at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
And it's fun out there. You do what you do. You do what you have to do. And it helps a lot just being out there because when you're at the training center, you focus, strictly on training. It's a place for excellence. So distractions are, minimal, and it's a great place to be to train for big things like that.
So what's the next big thing?
Well, I got some college tournaments coming up. November 3rd, I wrestle in the Cowboy Open in Wyoming, and then the next weekend I wrestle again at a Northern Colorado College Open. So those are back to back, and then it's like a week or two.
And you'll be competing unattached, right?
Yeah. So
Aaron's committed to Penn State.
Yeah.
Perennial power. Penn State won 7 of the last 8 national team titles, and you'll be there next year at this time.
Yeah. Next summer I go up like in June.
Okay.
For summer classes and stuff and training and.
You hear this list of accomplishments, Aaron, that you've gotten. You've just turned 18 recently, and what kind of goes through your head when you hear this list? And Andy just kind of a very short list of what you have accomplished. What does it kind of blow you away a little bit? What you have accomplished to this point?
I don't really think about it that much. You know, I've said it before. You know, you look back at stuff like this and you let it guide you. You know, it tells you that you're moving in the right path. So I feel like when you stop and think about it, you kind of slow yourself down, or it gets to your head a little bit. So my opinion, the best thing to do is just keep moving forward. You know, you should expect to do these things if you expect to do bigger things. So for me, you know, I expect to be a senior world champ. So if I win a cadet world title, it's rewarding, but you know, you expect these things to happen if you're going to do even bigger things. So that's how I look at it.
And you've obviously been involved in wrestling from a very young age. At what point, you know, on the timeline, did you see that this was something that could open doors for you and really, you know, let you go places?
Well, it's like two stories kind of. Whenever I was 6 years old, so I wrestled in this one, like, it was just Berkeley Springs tournament maybe, or it was local, and I wrestled in the 7-under division, and this kid named Dalton Jackson, he beat me in like the semifinals or something, and so I ended up taking third, he ended up taking first, and then like we were getting our trophies, and he walked by with this like huge trophy, and then like they handed me my like small trophy, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to lose again, and he's like, if you're serious about it, then we can make it happen. So like at that moment, I knew I wanted to wrestle, you know, and like take it really seriously when I was 6, because I seen that kid's trophy, like, hey, I don't want to lose anymore. Let's get good at this. And then I think as I got older, as like the age of 9, I was like, you know, college wrestling is, because when you're younger, you don't think about college wrestling, you're just wrestling and getting better. But when I was like 9 and 10, I started watching, you know, the NCAA finals and stuff, and I was like, I want to be a part of that too. So yeah, that's whenever I really realized that.
I'm sure you can't wait to get to Penn State next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's a crazy atmosphere to wrestle in. It's fun. It's a good vibe. So
they had like 44 straight sellouts.
Yeah. So every no matter who they're wrestling, it's a big crowd. So
you have to. Andy and I talked before, and the idea of going to Penn State, this you know, storied program. You really could have written your ticket anyway. What was it about Penn State? Was it just the idea that this program was so great?
Well, I mean, of course you see that a program's doing great and you want to be a part of it. So you see the success is already there, and you know it's not like a promising success for everybody, but you know that this program produces top level people. And for me, I knew that if I wanted to reach my full potential, even at Penn State, and like even afterwards, you know, wrestling with them as a adult, a grown man out of college, because there's RTCs you can wrestle for and stuff. And I knew that if I wanted to reach my full potential, it would have to be somewhere like that. You know, I could go somewhere else, anywhere else in the country, and I could be, you know, an amazing college wrestler. But afterwards, you look at the Olympics and stuff, like, where can you get best at both styles and just all around? And, you know, like I said, the atmosphere, you know, the team, the coaches, I really like the coaches a lot. You know, they're really relaxed, really cool, funny people, and it's just what's best for me. You know, a lot of my coaches, I like open relationships, laid back, relaxed, because it keeps you calm and relaxed, stuff like that. So little stuff, but big difference.
So you're in the Olympic development program. Is that Olympics kind of that carrot on the stick for you? How big a goal is that for you?
Yeah, that's the top goal, because I mean there's world titles, but that's every year. Olympics is every 4 years, and it's 6 weight classes. You know, the world team for seniors, men's group is 10 weight classes, like, and then the Olympics is 6 weight classes. So, and it's
hard
every
to
4
get
years.
there. Yeah,
so
hard to get there. Even
10
harder
weight classes
to win.
to 6 weight classes. That's a big difference. So, I hope they add more weight classes, just because I think it'd be more exciting. But 6 weight classes, that's what makes it really hard, and it's every 4 years. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to sit here and talk with you more. We're running out of time, but yeah. Andy, thanks so much for your insight. Aaron, thank you for coming in. Best of luck. Continue good health to you this year. Our social media segment is up next, right after this break. Stay with us.
Frostburg's program at USMH was definitely closer to home, allowed me to stay at home while I had the opportunity to substitute in Washington County Public Schools. The scholarships at USMH really allowed me to walk out, being able to pay it off much more quickly and being able to pursue my graduate degree at a quicker rate. I would say to anyone considering USMH, allows you to build better relationships in the community and something that's definitely a great opportunity to pursue and leads to a better career.
We've been coming to Rick's for about 3 or 4 years. The staff at Rick's is wonderful.
It is the Cheers of Hagerstown.
Everybody knows your name.
They've actually become a lot of our friends.
Treat you like family. They know you by name.
It's nice to be able to go somewhere as quality as this that's not a chain restaurant.
The food is unique. They get creative. It's fresh food.
And they make great drinks.
The word is in. Local, casual, and always epic. That's Rick's Cafe.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Let's hit the social media circuit now and see what people have been talking about amongst their friends and followers. Bill Sterner is an old friend of ours, a longtime assistant and head football coach at Hancock Junior Senior High School before moving into the athletic director position there. He also worked as a sports writer for the Herald Mail for a few years. He's now the athletic director at Clear Spring High School, and he's been witness to some great soccer on the western side of Washington County this year. He posted this to Facebook last week. We'll be presenting the Tesla Cup to your Washington County champions, Lady Blazers soccer team tonight before the varsity game. That was against Brunswick. Hashtag Tesla means the best. Hashtag Blazer Nation proud. Along with a picture of the Tesla Cup named for longtime South Hagerstown soccer coach Mike Tesla. That is a sweet trophy. Congratulations to the Blazers on their prize. But that's not all. We have the boys' side of that story too. Williamsport Athletic Director Emily Crabtree tweeting this team photo of the Wildcats boys soccer team with the simple statement, "Way to go Wildcats, county champs." Not bad for a team that had to replace 13 seniors this season. Congratulations to the Wildcats as well for their Washington County title. We're going back a little further for this one. At Hubs_football tweeted this on October 13th. Following North's 48-35 loss to Boonesboro. In tonight's loss, Jaynaz Melendez broke single-game school records for passing yards with 295 and completions with 19. The former passing mark of 287 was held by Logan Kelso, set in 2006 versus Middletown, and the completion record, 18, was previously held by Benny Barnes in 2015. Now, that's great work by both Melendez and the Hubs, and Melendez followed that game up with 15 completions for 205 yards in a win over Frederick last week. Those ranked 7th and 12th, respectively, in North history. The North-South game could be fun to watch this year. Remember to reach out to us or tag us on social media with all the cool stuff that happens before, during, and after the games or events around Washington County. We want to hear from you on Twitter. We are at Inside Sports OL. On Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, it's at Inside Sports Now. Stay with us as we take a look ahead to the postseason in soccer, volleyball, and cross country after the break.
For the last 2 years of my education, I was going to work full-time, school full-time, and raising 2 young children by myself. I think that anybody who's desiring to continue their education or to advance their career, I think that USMH provides convenient location, affordable pricing, and again, they have instructors that really care about sending their students off with the experience and the education that they need to succeed.
If you add it up, 12 spots a year for 25 years, close to 300 different commercials I've used Antietam Cable Production for. In terms of the experience with the production department, the truth is, we've become friends because we've done it so often. The staff is very, very professional. They make it easy for me to do the spot. That's the biggest thing. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And it works. It brings people to the dealership. And that's all I can ask.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Playoff season is here for some sports and right around the corner for others. So let's take a quick look at what's in store for county teams in the postseason. We'll start with boys soccer in Class 1A West Section 2 is where Washington County teams reside. Clear Spring and Boonesboro are the number 1 and number 2 seeds. They draw byes in the first round. First round games Thursday night. Smithsburg plays at Francis Scott Key. The winner of that plays at Clear Spring on Tuesday night, October 30th. Brunswick hosts Catoctin on Friday night. That winner plays at Boonesboro on Tuesday. The Section 2 final is scheduled for Friday, November 2nd. It could set up for a Clear Spring-Boonesboro rematch. Boonesboro won the regular season meeting between those two teams 3-1. That, however, was in the first week of the regular season. Winner of Section 2 faces the Section 1 winner in the 1A West final on Tuesday, November 6th. Mountain Ridge is the number 1 seed in Section 1, and for the record, Clear Spring handed the Miners their first loss of the season back on October 1st. To Class 2A West boys, where Williamsport finds itself in a familiar spot as the number 2 seed in Section 2. The Wildcats have a first-round bye before a likely matchup Tuesday against Middletown, which has knocked out Williamsport in the section final each of the last 3 years. Walkersville's the top seed in Section 2. Williamsport lost to both Walkersville and Middletown during the regular season. North Hagerstown's boys are the number 1 seed in Class 3A West Section 2. The Hubs have a first-round bye before hosting the winner of Thursday's match between Linganore and Tuscarora. North beat both of those teams by shutout earlier in the season. On the other side of the bracket, South Hagerstown played at Thomas Johnson Thursday. The winner plays at number 2 seed Frederick on Tuesday. That winner moving on to the section final on Friday. Moving from boys soccer to girls soccer, we'll start with Class 1A West there also, and the top seeds are the same for the girls as they were for the boys. Clear Spring's the number 1 seed in Section 2, and there can't be many teams on a hotter streak than the Blazers. They enter the playoffs on a 10-game winning streak and get a first-round bye before hosting the winner of Friday's Brunswick-Francis Scott Key game on Tuesday, October 30th. Also, like the boys, Boonesboro holds the number 2 seed in the section. The Warriors will play the winner of Thursday's Catoctin-Smithsburg matchup on Tuesday. In Class 2A West, Williamsport is the number 5 seed in Section 2. The winner of their Thursday match against Damascus plays at top-seeded Middletown on Tuesday. The Wildcats played Middletown last week and came all the way back from a 3-0 deficit to force overtime before losing to the Knights 4-3. Finally, in Class 3A West, we have our only county versus county first-round matchup as number 6 seed South Hagerstown plays at number 3 seed North Hagerstown on Friday night. The winner traveling to 2nd seed TJ for the section semifinal on Tuesday. Now, before you look at the seeds and figure North is a cinch to move on, remember this. South beat North 3-2 just a couple weeks ago. The Rebels' first win over the Hubs in girls soccer in 20 years. That's why the games aren't played on paper. The state golf tournament was held this week at the University of Maryland course in College Park, and 2 Washington County players were on hand. South Hagerstown's Lexi Parrott made the cut in girls 3A 4A tournament, shooting a 13 over par 84 on Monday. She was still playing as we were shooting this on Wednesday afternoon. Boonesboro's Jackson Schultz finished tied for 29th and missed the cut in the boys' Class 1A 2A field after shooting a 19 over par 90 on Tuesday. He was 5 strokes above the cut line of 85. Volleyball fans have to wait until Monday for their tournament draws to happen, but as usual, Washington County has more than its share of potential region, if not state, title contenders. In Class 1A West, as usual, the conversation has to begin with Smithsburg. The Leopards are 12-0 this season, won the Central Maryland Conference title for a second straight year, and oh yeah, they are the 4-time defending state champions in Class 1A, so it's safe to call them the prohibitive favorite. Boonesboro and Clear Spring will try to bring an end to the Leopards' reign. In Class 2A West, Williamsport is 9-4, and all 4 of those losses are to powerhouse teams: Smithsburg, North Hagerstown, Oakdale, and James Wood. Damascus is always a tough match for the Wildcats in Section 2, and defending champion Oakdale are the favorites to win Section 1 and stand in the way of the Wildcats. In Class 3A West, North Hagerstown will be the number 1 or number 2 seed in Section 2. Tuscarora figures to be the other team in that equation, and those two teams are likely on a collision course for the section title, and both have a strong case for region and state glory. We'll see next week how those brackets shake out. Finally, cross-country regional meets all will be held next Thursday, November 1st. The 1A West meet will be held at Allegheny College of Maryland in Cumberland. Boonesboro and Brunswick figure to battle it out for the girls' title there and at the state meet. The Williamsport boys will look to build on a strong finish at the CMC meet in the Class 2A West meet at Liberty High School. And the Class 3A West meet will be at Watkins Mill High School in Montgomery County. North Hagerstown will be looking to defend its girls' title from a year ago there. Well, that's all for us here today. No Inside Sports next week. Instead, we'll have live coverage of the North-South football game at South Hagerstown on Friday, November 2nd. Our Game Day Live pregame show begins at 6:30 p.m. with me, Coach Greg Kellick, and Bob Parcelletti, followed by kickoff at 7 p.m. We hope you'll join us then, and we thank you for joining us here today. See you next time.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets.